The Ayatollah of rock and roll. He's not in the Hall of Fame either. But anyway, boom, boom, boom.
Rim shot there, Bob. Good job.
Yeah, it's just as we segue.
Well, you're segueing on me. I know you like talking about music, my brother. That's why I brought it up.
I know it. I know it. Yeah, REM still the best.
There you
They're
go.
they got inducted by Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, I was actually going to start this out with my one of my favorite bands, Pearl Jam. The lead singer Eddie Vedder inducted your favorite band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
Exactly,
there
and
you
then,
go.
and it was funny because we had always talked about similarities, you know, from the time where um, between the two,
Yeah.
and Eddie Vedder made it basically said that Michael Stipe was one of his biggest musical influences. If he could only understand
What the hell
what
he was
Michael
saying?
Stipe was saying, right? Ironically, what was it? Yellow Ledbetter. I mean, what was he saying? Somebody decipher. Oh, he's Michael Stipe in it. I got you. Anyway,
Yo,
Thank goodness for karaoke machines, right, where they play the lyrics in front of you, so you know what you've always been listening to, and you're like, "Oh, is that what they're really saying?" So,
Yellow Ledbetter's a fucking great song. But I know all the lyrics, Bowie. But on a beach of weathered sand. I love the line, and I love I love the line going into the chorus where he says, "I don't know whether I was the boxer or the bag," meaning whether he was the fighter or the punching bag.
right.
Because the song's about a soldier who dies at war, and he comes back in spirit, and he's watching his fiance and family on the front porch reading the last letter he sent home. It's a fucking beautiful song.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, you definitely have to learn the lyrics. If you're hearing it for the first time, "Yellow Ledbetter" by Pearl Jam, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is he saying?"
oh, we know how to Oh gosh. Have you seen the one where they had the made up lyrics or whatever? Like anyway, the
Oh yeah,
basic deciphered.
just
Oh, I think when they do that, it's hilarious. Because it scratches some people's head and say, "That's not what they're saying. This is familiar, but that's not what." And yeah, so anyhow,
So we were speaking earlier about some stuff that's going on here recently, uh, and what's the? Oof. It's a very. I'm talking about Iran and Israel and Lebanon. It's the most. There's a lot of censorship. Is all I can say. I've talked to. I've talked to friends and about what's really happening over there in the Middle East, and it's without any kind of confirmation because everything is censored. I mean
hmm
it's really bad. The whole internet is,
yes,
oh, there's
and
30 different stories from 30 different places. So
exactly, and the threats that of sharing or trying to squeeze anything by the censor, and reporting or anything that could get you killed over there. It's not a game, and that why is it that they um, I, I've just heard that every base that we have in the Middle East has been destroyed. That's what I've heard. Like everything, everything unserviceable.
Wow.
talking about Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Arif John, and Kuwait. I've heard it everything. Now, see, if I say that, and like I say, it's not confirmed. How would it be confirmed? Um, I heard the Gerald Ford, which suffered a laundry room fire. Did you hear about that?
The aircraft carrier.
Yeah, the newest, most expensive aircraft carrier, most technological,
Right.
advanced aircraft carrier ever created. Um, yeah, that. You know, it's in dry dock. Well, and I don't saying it's in dry dock. It's in for repairs. They say it's going to be 18 months.
It's just a flesh wound.
Well, no, they're saying it got hit.
Ah, it's just a flesh wound. Merely a flesh wound.
Is that
I'm going back to
what's the British guy?
Monty
You know,
Python.
with the Black Knight and cuts his arm off.
yeah, Monty Python.
Monty Python, right? You know, Holy Grail. Right? You know,
I'm just making a joke, Bob. You know this. It's me.
Bring out your dead.
oh gracious.
It's merely a flesh wound. I think that was maybe the line. Yeah.
Well,
No,
Bob,
I have not heard about this. So
yeah,
a lot
no,
of stuff
and
is
thank
censored.
you. I mean, I thank you for bringing the light up to do that. And you know, I don't know where the line is. I was in the Navy. I was on the Saratoga during the first Persian Gulf War. You know, I don't. You know, the idea is, you know, well, where do you draw the line between the public's right and need to know, and what's operational in nature that needs to be, you know, censored, I guess, you know, or controlled and such. And so I don't know. I don't know, Bob.
Well, the public has no expectation of ever knowing the truth about something of that nature, especially where there's numbers involved, which I've heard are way higher than what's been reported, which makes for makes for an interesting little thing. Like, how are they going to get these bodies back? How are they going to enter these numbers? What's going to happen? So I don't know. I try not to think about these things, but you know, it is legal. We live in a world now, and I don't know if I guess it would have been the Patriot Act as far as what they or the government can or can not do, as far as they can lie to you on the TV and run with stories and repeat them, and they're total fabrications, and they can do that. So
That bothers me, Bob. I'll be honest with you. I didn't sign up for that. I get the idea that there's a military need, you know, lives at risk, you know, those types of things. But I guess did the House of Representatives this week? I think they voted down extension of some of the FISA, you know, warrant surveillance type issues, trying to cut back some of the stuff that was passed during the 9/11 time period 25 years ago to try to get things back down. You know, when I wasn't around. I mean, I was a very young child during Vietnam. You know, but they reported adverse negative things, and then that was a big controversy in the U.S. from what I can gather, that, you
They
know,
learned their lesson.
right?
They learned their lesson.
All right, I guess, right? And
Did
so
Public opinion is a very, you know, and if the public only has an opinion based on the facts that you present, you know, that's to me, that's well, withholding the truth in any way, shape, or form is a lie, you know. So, and I get it, you know, but then again, I think the country deserves to know who's on the Epstein list and what, you know. I think that we're in a very precarious situation where the truth, I know what it is. What's the first casualty of war? The truth.
Right.
So,
Well, and it makes me think of, gosh, doesn't the Soviet Union do this? I mean, I could imagine Soviet network TV has a very different light on Ukraine and the casualties and the cost. And, and I'm like, so are we now no different than that? That we are shielding our public from the truth? And if we are, why is that?
It's been going on for quite some time.
Yes. And the issue is that it's because someone is either trying to hold control or they don't trust the American people. One of the two, or both.
Bob, back in the day, whichever day that was. But when we had this, it's been well documented on this show. Bob and I at this house party, we were going to fight. Dick Johnson broke us up,
Thank goodness.
and all this. Yeah, because Bob would be.
Because you would be in a pretzel in a wheelchair here, my friend.
But well, you're probably right. Cause we should talk about the ale house night with JP. Actually, let's just talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to get ready to continue
oh man,
pouring fuel on the fire of what we're about to talk about, folks. Stay tuned. Back when Bob was still, let's say he's stateside and in Jacksonville. All right, because I met Bob because Bob's little brother and I went to high school, to Mandarin together.
Okay.
And that's how I knew Bob. So I knew him. Bob. Bob and I just obviously are very, very good friends. And but back in that particular day, the ale house. I don't know if it's still in Mandarin. I mean, there's ale houses all over the place, but
Right.
this is the one in Mandarin. And I went to high school. I mean, this is after high school, but I went to high school with this one guy, and he was always a nice guy to me. He did forget to pick me up for basketball practice one day, and I literally ran, I don't know how many miles to get to the gym, and Coach Drumright was like, "Host Claw, where you been?" And we'll just call him JP, okay, Bob? We'll just call him JP. And JP was nice enough to say, "Coach, I was supposed to pick him up. I forgot." I was like in hot water because I was really late for practice. There was this night, it's long after high school, Bob's hanging out at the ale house, and JP, probably roiding, really, really, really big.
yeah, it wasn't natural.
You take over, Bob.
Yeah, he had some honeys with him too.
Yep.
Like more than one. I mean, there was two or three, and hey, what's up? And he was he had that youthful exuberance, and I kind of took offense because he was trying to big time me, man. Like
Fucking
Dude.
with Bob Austin. He has no idea.
you're in my mind, you're lucky I'm even acknowledging you, bro. What's up, man? And yeah, he was had some some liquid courage in him and some whatever. Oh, it was funny. It was a good time, man. Good time, learning lesson. But when it was all
Being
said,
young is fun, isn't it? When you're young and naive and high energy, and
well, his version of the story is going to be a little different than mine because I had him down over my knee,
It was in the parking lot.
spanking him, huh?
literally over my knee. Had him both of them big old python arms. Had him in an arm bar. Had both of his arms.
By the way,
And one of
Jeremy
them-
Parrish way bigger than Bob Austin.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude. I thought it was JP.
Oh, holy shit! Can we edit that out? I totally screwed that up. Sorry, Jeremy. Holy
Yeah.
shit, JP. But he is a good guy. He was a good guy. He
Definitely.
he admitted that he didn't pick me up. But bottom line, like he listens to this show.
Yeah, I paid him back for you. I got paid back. It took a while for you, Chad, but I knew what those running those miles to Mandarin. I knew what that did to you.
Holy shit, man! You know where from Aladdin Road in Loretto all the way to Mandarin.
Yeah.
That was
So he deserved every little pat his little patootie got, man.
to paint it for everybody. Bottom line, once again, I think at the end of the day, JP is a nice guy and all that jazz. But it's just a story that is reality, right? And then we're telling because it goes back to you don't want to fuck with Bob Austin because Bob could have literally destroyed him, and instead Bob
Chose to embarrass him.
he,
I thought that was the best course. Lessons need to be learned here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good for you.
The disrespect shall not be tolerated. And how do you like the way this feels? You don't want that to ever happen. The lesson, take a hint, you know.
Especially in front of a couple of honeys that he had, you know. I mean, that's
And you know, I was hamming. I'm probably looking at him. What's up?
Bobby basically took him down in technical fashion
Yeah.
into a hold and yeah, just had your way with him.
I'll be honest, he didn't see it coming, and I didn't see it coming. I mean, he's a big dude, man. He's a strong, very powerful person, you know.
right.
If Jeremy does listen to the show, JP, now he hates me forever. So it's like, no, dude, listen, I just gave you kudos for admitting to Coach Drumright that you forgot to pick me up. It's all cool in the gang. I'm not shitting on him at all. It's just this is just reality. The fact is, if Dick Johnson didn't break up that fight at the house party in 2005, my nose might not be straight. I don't know. I don't know what
No.
Bob.
Or your bottom might be red. Who knows?
I don't know. Bob and I were far beyond JP and him type shit.
I bruise feelings.
Well, I fucked up your feelings too. We were both annoyed. We were both annoyed, but we were both going to go at it. And
Well, Bob, I kind of like the topic you brought up, and I don't want to be specific about Lebanon and Israel and Iran and that. I want to be more domestic.
I'm going to be specific
Here
in a little bit.
here in the U.S. I'm interested in your opinion. Is there anything that we could do to try to turn the tide where we can get to a more free and open and honest society, or is it that's just not going to happen, and let's move on and do the best we can in life?
I think we're being bombarded by so many avenues of disinformation that it's this goes back to the same alphabet agency tactics that we've done and performed in other countries on every continent in the world. And it's the disinformation, it's almost like death by 1,000 paper cuts, but this is the truth. The 1,000 stories that are bullshit. And what happens is it demoralizes the population. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. I mean, that is it. Because and it's think about it as like the monarch effect, mind control, trauma based,
Right.
Well, that's what they're doing psychologically to us. We're being, the truth is getting its ass beat. And if you think about it, think about just here in the last couple of years,
Bear, shut up.
the amount of,
That was Bear, right? Go ahead.
yes, it is. The fractions, the way they've, like, let's just talk MAGA. That was a conglomeration of many different, you know, agencies or whatever, as far as the people, their views or whatever. And it's now it's somewhat fractured. In other words, we're arguing amongst ourselves.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time, man.
And that's by design, man.
Yeah, yeah, big time, big time. And by the way, we're getting right back on this. Bear is an awesome German Shepherd. That's Bob's German Shepherd, and I still every time, because it's only been what, Bob? It's like a year and a half or 2 years since Hero died.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hero was we could say off air, but his other German Shepherd, which Bear's not trained like Hero, but Hero would have ripped your throat out. Hero was a great German Shepherd.
Thank you. He was.
Yeah, he was. It was incredible. And I know you miss him, man, just like I miss Jaina. You know.
Yeah.
And I had her for fucking 20 years.
Yeah, I've had my dog for probably 10 to 15, and you know, I know that dog will not live, and I'm an empty nester. You know, I live by myself, and that dog definitely senses us. And you know, when we talk about support, you know, animals and that kind of stuff, that dog will come up and nuzzle, put his nose on me and said, "Hey, you need to get your ass up off the couch and walk me," you know, type of deal. And it's probably not for him. It's probably more for me to do that. So the animals are wonderful.
I want to clarify real quick. Jaina, when I say 20 years, I mean Jaina was, Bob knows, Jaina was Jen and my kitty cat.
Okay.
So, but I mean, usually dogs don't live fucking 20 years, but
That's what I was going to say, but
yeah, but Jaina lived for. We got her in '98, and all that. But it's a pet is a pet that you love, and Bob, of course, loved the fuck out of Hero, and that dog was a great, incredible dog. But now he's got Bear also, and I knew that was Bear in the background. Great German Shepherd.
Great.
Dude, German Shepherds, period, are to me the best dogs. I'm gonna piss off every other dog owner.
No, I agree. There's a majesty to them, and I think they know that.
sure, absolutely. Yeah, just the way they present themselves, they poise themselves. You know that they're pretty self-confident. You know.
Yeah, they're a dog that you they make themselves impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
I think they see, he's in there barking right now at what? I have no idea.
Well, Bob, back on the topic that we were talking about, and so what you were saying is, we as the American country, I guess, with, I'm going to use the letters CIA. Let's say the CIA specifically, particularly, has influenced.
Edit all that out, Tony.
Yeah, right. The political landscape of other countries for decades. And then yet, sometimes we get appalled when we hear that, oh my goodness, some other country is trying to influence our elections. And if I hear you correct, the issue is it's no different than what we've done for a long period of time also. I mean, every country does it to every other country to try to achieve their geopolitical outcomes that they want.
Well, I will say this, as this is Iran, let's just say, because it's been, I've got different views, risk versus rewards, use versus squeeze, about everything. That's the way I feel. I think that if you have the best military in the world, well, act like it. But but a lot of that stuff is propaganda, and we live in the whole 1984, and it's here. It's here. I mean, I was talking today for 5 hours about AI and how that's what job is not going to be affected, and we've uncovered so many that are almost eliminated jobs, like a career path, the people, and they're gone.
Yes.
I'm not mentioning anybody's professions or whatever I'm talking about, but they know it, they see it. The COVID thing, that was a dry run for shutting down schools, period. As a matter of fact, where I live, they wanted it. They didn't, that's exactly what they want, man. Hey, kind of like work from home. Hey, school from home. I mean, and I'm like, okay, what do you think that's going to do to the teachers? Because when you figure it out, it's one teacher is going to do a visual class or virtual class instead of 30 kids for a teacher. This person's doing 1,000 students or something. I mean, and that's really what it's all about. Is when you look at business, okay, the cost, overhead, and labor. That's it. But
Truck drivers, 18-wheel truck drivers. And I mean, hey, if you're I don't know, a Grubhub person delivering, food from Chipotle, or if you are, who knows, an Uber driver. I mean, yeah, it's blue collar, it's white collar, it's everything in the middle. I'm not sure that plumbers and electricians and some of those, might be a little bit more, insulated, but there sure are. I mean, I'm a high school math teacher. I know that they have their eyes on me. I mean, now my point is that I'm not sure that students are going to respond well to an AI. Some students will, and there'll be a lot of students that will not. And it may be that the people in power decide that the students that aren't, instead of No Child Left Behind, are going to be left behind. Because maybe it doesn't matter, because we only need a certain percentage of people to be successful. Because I tell my students all the time, I said, if you're not designing, repairing, programming, building, robotics, you are in real jeopardy, because even those positions are coming under the pressure of AI. So,
well, I think about the several fields in particular that I have a little bit of a knowledge about as far as industry changing. Number one would be medical. I mean, it used to be, okay, you had a doctor, you had nurses. Okay, now you've got
surgeons,
physician assistants, and nurse practitioners. What are they? Well, they can write prescriptions. They're a doctor. Bottom line. and that's. But it doesn't take 8-10 years of college, you know, to do
Right.
that. And that's just saying. I've seen that firsthand as far as that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say transportation. You know, you think about the
Bus drivers,
trains,
pilots.
all your shipments on trains. They don't need anybody on those trains. The technology was there 40 years ago, probably at least 30, but definitely it was operational 20 years ago. And it's been implemented here and there on test basis, test bases, and you know they save a lot of money, and the technology's there. So at one point, and it's another thing about the AI. I mean, I don't want to freak you guys out, man. Data centers, that's the new thing, right? Everybody's about data centers, and then what do you need? Well, we need water. We have to have access to water and
For cooling. Yeah.
exactly. And where does that polluted water go? Right back at you. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Into our, in other words, we're going to be competing. Humans are going to be competing with these machines for resources.
Right. So let's get a little scary here, Bob. What about your old profession? You see AI replacing the military?
If you really want to know, think about it like this. You ever heard of Soldier of Fortune magazine? Back, you know, yeah, I remember those from the 80s and 90s, and some of the futuristic weapons that were, you know, in the
Terminator movie.
no, but you know what do they call it when they first start out the testing phases of it?
Beta, beta test.
Prototype, beta testing. There you go. So, well, man, all I can think about is how long ago that was, and they had these prototypes or whatever back then. What do they got now? So, yeah, man, I'm still, dude, this thing over here in Iran's not over. I mean, it's, what is it? We've opened and closed the Strait of Hormuz like 30 times now in 45 days.
With 3 or 4 times in the last 48 hours?
Yeah, I mean, that's so. Do I think that my you know, obviously you pray for cooler heads to prevail, but some people have a mission, and I'm not going to call it a you know, it's a yeah, they've got a mission, and then what wouldn't they do? And I'm not talking about Iran. I'm talking about our friends over there. Who don't, who's apparently not really being a good ally, or the tail's wagging the dog, or what on this? But
I can say for you, Bob. You know I don't have a fucking problem with it. If you want
Yeah.
me to, I mean, I'll say it. Let's start with Charlie Kirk.
let's
Before we get to the dude in the corner of the room at the party with the green lampshade on his head that everyone fucking is somehow ignoring.
yeah.
Charlie Kirk ain't here, not because. Listen, from hell to breakfast. Bottom line, people can look at. I think a lot of people whoever they follow on the internet, whatever the internet is, or the television, they haven't really looked at the ATF report themselves. And if they did, they don't know a lot about weapon systems. You know, from magazines to actual rifles versus pistols. The report did not say jack shit about that the bullet fragments were found in Charlie Kirk. Never said it matched that particular rifle. It said it matched either a 308 or a 30-06, but never the rifle. It didn't match the actual rifle. And that's why I told Scotty Hare, because he had brought that up in the Super Friends chat, and I said, well, dude, you're totally right, because that's going to be suppressed in court when they take Tyler Robinson to court. Well, I mean, he's in court, all this shit, but when that trial starts, they're going to suppress the rifle. The prosecution is, because that bullet does not belong to that rifle. That's just a fact. But it's just, all these people are saying 20 million different things, but if you read the actual ATF report, that bullet does not belong to that rifle. Who the fuck killed Charlie Kirk?
I think I would listen to what Candace Owens has to say about that, because some of her theories, they're still working theories, but they're
I'm
very.
just going to help you out. I'll help you out, Bob.
Go ahead.
I'll help you out, because I know. Here's the thing. Bob and I, we were talking about that 2005 house party fight, right? Well, Bob was back for a little bit, and Bob didn't really like the fact that I decided to say 9/11 was an inside job. He did not like that.
Right.
Yeah, that was a.
And we didn't talk for what, a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, after the
Yeah.
Dick
yeah.
Johnson broke his up. But Bob called me 2.5 years later, something like that. He had fucking researched the living shit out of everything I was telling him about 9/11 and the New World Order. And he was like, holy shit, Chad. And I was like, holy shit, why is Bob calling me? And it's, bottom line, it's great that he and I are, back together and great friends and all this. But it's a perspective that was hard for him to find, just like it was a perspective for me to fucking find and say, okay, I'm going to research 9/11, because you understand, I rather the official story be correct.
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
the idea is when your eyes are closed and you are in the dark, opening your eyes to the light is painful.
It's fucking horrible.
It is.
All right. I mean, it's because I knew if 9/11 was an inside job, then there's no fucking justice ever going to fucking come for
We've become.
Yeah.
and every victim. It's going to be covered up for fucking hell to breakfast and all this. But do you shut the fuck up about it? No. If you can, you can talk about it. Here's the thing. This is where I'm helping you out, Bob. I'm making big circles. I'm peacocking. We're circling back. Remember Jen Psaki? We'll
Yeah.
circle back to that.
Circle back, girl.
But I'm making, I'm painting this picture like a Bob Ross painting. Okay. Now, if you draw this bush right here, see
Happy
that,
squirrel.
everybody? Nice little happy
It's a
squirrel.
Little cloud.
Hey, no, straight up to you, Bob Ross. You were a great guy.
He was.
Hell yeah.
He
Great.
tried to make a positive change.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. We're not making fun of Bob Ross at all, man. Bob Ross was a fucking awesome individual.
Air Force.
So,
He was. I'm trying to remember what he did in the Air Force, but I think he was
it was
special. What
was he a
it?
PJ?
I know he was an accountant when he got out of the military, and he was horrible as an accountant. He said he's going to follow his passion.
So I mean, I'm so sorry. I'm still peacocking. I'm getting there. I'm circling back. So basically, Bob, so the 9/11 thing and the Charlie Kirk thing and everything else. Well,
The COVID thing and everything else.
I'm talking about a couple different things that are totally in the Iran thing. I'm talking about some things that are completely connected. There's something that Bob, of course, knows very, very well, and anyone who's researched 9/11 knows very, very well. There's a dude named BB. He's nicknamed BB, and he's quoted as saying after the inside job at 9/11 that 9/11 was very good for Israel. That's like, would you take some time at least instead of and there's a fact. It's just a fact that 5 Mossad agents were arrested by New Jersey PD across the Manhattan, dancing and celebrating and filming.
On top of a van.
Yes, and
The event.
yeah,
There to,
they
what
were
was their story?
they were there to film the event.
The event.
They filmed American 11 and United 175 going into North and South Tower. They were there to film the event. Well, how did you know the event was going to fucking happen, right? But the Bush administration, basically in the State Department, basically told New Jersey PD, you let those Mossad agents go and send them back over to Israel.
And they weren't the only ones that had foreknowledge. I mean, I think Brooks has brought up that there were a lot of people that traded push options on the airlines.
Whoa, fuck yes. Fuck yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying to stick with what I'm trying to
right.
peace hockey back to what Bob's talking about in the first place. Fuck yes. There's 20 million exaggeration people who knew had foreknowledge of 9/11
Yes.
because they were either intricately into it or they knew they were going to profit from it.
Right.
With the put options, fuck yeah. But holy shit.
It was like 176 or 276 total that were rounded up. These were, well, I don't know if you'd say Mossad, but they came from that country. And they were all rounded up. And apparently they had a moving company and that didn't move anything. But anyway, that was the front. And our government sent them back to Israel.
Well,
No charge.
and
They were
from
held
my
for
and
that.
I'll step out on a limb here. From my perspective, is I think the Bush administration was somewhat complacent. Surely with
What?
right with surely with you know Cheney and
What?
Rumsfeld and some of these guys. You
Get
know,
the fuck out of here.
and the idea is that they were like, hey, yeah, now you're giving us a reason to go in, not to Saudi Arabia, not to Pakistan.
Where the hijackers were from?
Not Saudi Arabia, not Pakistan, where the hijackers were operating from, but let's go in and knock off Saddam Hussein.
17 of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and one was from Oman, and the other was from Jordan.
Right. Right. Operating out of Pakistan.
Zacharias Masali never made it onto the plane.
Right. Operating out of Pakistan, and shortly thereafter we go to war and topple Saddam Hussein in Iraq. And I'm not saying Saddam Hussein was a good guy, but that seems odd to me.
He was a better friend to us than we were to him.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, they burned him. Is what they did. But it's the new world order that burned him. The Bush administration, Dick Cheney, holy shit.
Well, you're talking about the Cheney and the Bush administration, but basically the Bush administration were the authors of the Project for the New American Century.
Yes. Yeah.
And part of that PNAC was that, what was it? We had a plan. 7 countries were going to fall within 5 years, and it's taken a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
But every one of those nations, and right now, I think there's maybe, I guess Cuba's still left, but the the 7 countries in the Middle East who were nemesis of Israel, they've all been taken care of now, and
Dick
and
Cheney,
that's not a coincidence.
Dick Cheney's quote in the Project for the New American Century, or PNAC, this is a paper that should be studied throughout every university. Never will be. It just never will be, right? Dick Cheney's quote, the quote that I'm quoting him, it's a fucking quote. We need a catalyzing event, something like a new Pearl Harbor. That's his fucking quote.
And Charlie Kirk got clipped for insinuating that Israel's October 7th thing, was there a stand down order?
Yeah.
Bibi's already been indicted at this point, and now he's got a green light.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same playbook, dude. I mean, it is what it is. But you know what? If it works, why would you quit using it?
Right.
You control the media. I mean, this is pretty.
You talk about a fucking rush to judgment with the whole Charlie Kirk thing bullshit.
Doesn't that just infuriate you though, man? When you
Yeah.
sat there and saw it and just
Oh,
Well, and there's a real fight. Let's just be honest. I mean,
they didn't get Butler, Keith, and I'll shut up. And
Yeah.
I don't have a pen, but they didn't get Butler live on television, so they got Charlie.
I don't know if you've seen this new revelation that has come out. I'm trying to remember my source, and I can't right off the top of my head. It's been alleged that the furry guy was the patsy, and that he broke script. And it's pretty compelling. You're obviously not going to see this on the MSM. Pretty compelling because they're going by text messages that have come out, have been released, I guess, before the trial, or how information comes out before a trial. But in text messages, that there was several different text messages to cover up for other text messages, and it's, in other words, 2 different stories from the same phone type deal.
Yeah.
And the guy was supposed to basically follow his script, and he broke camp, and he turned himself in before they could kill him.
The
And if you think about that, it reminds me of Lee Harvey Oswald. Why was he?
That's what I was thinking right there.
who is still not confessed, but he turned himself in. It's no
Right.
confession. Yeah, exactly. Bringing up Lee Harvey Oswald, Bob. Holy shit.
But it's the same. It's the same playbook, man. And look, have I ever seen an assassination on live TV
Oh,
like
well.
that?
Like JFK.
Pretty, yeah. And you would think, and here's the thing with it, and I'm like, well, with the technology, everybody's got a cell phone. You can't get away with that anymore. Bullshit.
Well, I mean, come on. Let's look at 9/11. Look at how suppressed all that information is. I mean, come on. There were how many cameras on the Pentagon? How many cameras on the
88
second World Trade Center?
88 cameras were confiscated immediately from the Pentagon.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Bob, that's where I'm very sympathetic to you. I really am. And I told Chad before the show when he told me that you were going to be on tonight, is that it hurts. It hurts me. And I'm just a junior naval officer on an aircraft carrier, serving my country, which as a 25-year-old person, I thought was the honorable thing to do. And then to realize when you're 55, 30 years later, of what's really going on, and you're like, you motherfuckers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
right? I'm here doing what I think is my patriotic duty,
Yes.
and you're manipulating the situation and me and my life, fuck you. That's just where I am, and I'm not you. I wasn't boots on the ground. Your situation is 100 times, if not 1,000 times more intense than my situation. And this is the feeling I have. And I'm a pretty controlled person, I feel, so.
Well, psychologically, you get to a point. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I figured the process would be similar for everybody. But you start questioning who the real enemy is, and that's a fucked up way to live.
All right. Well, I told Chad, I said, hey, President Trump may not be perfect. He surely is human and he surely is broken like the rest of us. But gosh darn it, he at least appears to me to be trying to take a stand and trying to make some difference. Now, how much is he going to be able to do? I don't know, but I'm surely really big. I recognize he's not perfect, and I don't agree with him on everything, but at least he seems to be trying to buck the trend, in my opinion.
I want to believe that. I voted for him 3 times. I didn't vote for Howard Lutnick to be Commerce Secretary. And Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor for fucking 20 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was, the guy, what was his company called? It was on the top floor. What was that? It wasn't, was it Apollo Capital? What was his company anyway? I'm sorry, that wasn't Apollo. It was
You're talking about
Cantor.
Cantor Fitzgerald?
Cantor Fitzgerald, yes.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So
Cantor-
Howard Lutnick and Larry Silverstein have one thing in common. They were both MIA on 9/11.
Yeah. Cantor Fitzgerald, for everyone who doesn't know, Bob bringing this up, holy fuck. Cantor Fitzgerald had the most casualties
Yeah.
as far as employees in South Tower. As far as employees there. Cantor Fitzgerald. And the Jersey girls, most of their husbands were in Cantor Fitzgerald. They were a bunch of wives who got together, right? And who lost their husbands in Cantor Fitzgerald, and they became the Jersey girls, and those are the ones who fucking took a lawsuit to the Bush administration and somehow fucking won for the NYPD firefighter tapes from ladder 15, which were in South Tower, to be released. And when those were released, it's like, of course, it's crickets from the media, right? But you have the official story of 9/11 is fucking bullshit as shit, which most of you watching probably know. But the thing about Cantor Fitzgerald and what the Jersey girls did to get those Ladder 15 tapes released is huge if anyone's really looking for the truth who can actually prosecute the truth. Oreo Palmer, Chief Palmer, his first name is Oreo. Oreo Palmer, the chief of Ladder 15, we've played it on the show so many times on 9/11 shows. We played the tapes, and it's hard to fucking listen to because you know what's going to happen to all of them. But you have Oreo Palmer going all the way up to the 87th floor, And as he's going up, he says, this is just a fucking quote. He says, I got minimal fires on multiple floors. I can put it out with 2 lines. Radio that. He's going to the stairwells. The official story, stairwells were all fucking severed
Right.
by the plane. No, the firefighters are going up the stairwells. It's not a fucking inferno. And these are this is Chief Oriole Palmer of
Right.
Ladder 15 bringing his guys up. If he thought that building was going to fucking collapse, he would
He would
never
have got
fucking.
his people out.
Hell no, yeah. They wouldn't keep going up. They were in the stairwell all the way up to the 87th floor. Holy shit. Right?
Well, you've had Richard Gage on and has talked
right.
about the architects, and I mean,
The fact is, that's a damning piece of evidence against the official story.
oh,
What
absolutely,
the Jersey Girls did from Cantor Fitzgerald.
right, right.
Bob, that was amazing that you brought up Cantor Fitzgerald. Holy shit.
Well, it's amazing that the same. Look, man, you know where I'm getting at. I mean,
Yeah, I know where you're getting at. That's why I helped you get there.
keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, and it's I don't know the complexities involved in the creation of the state of Israel, and I don't know if that's was a joint British American kind of thing. I know it's what they wanted. It's definitely it's what they wanted. But also, I go a lot of different ways on this, but Lutnick, I don't particularly. He appears to me as a not so good guy. All right, I mean, and how he gets to be Commerce Secretary, and how Jared Kushner is running foreign policy in the Middle East, and Kushner's dad, who was an ex-con who did get pardoned by Trump, is the ambassador to France. There's a lot of things that I don't understand, but when I see that Charlie Kirk thing, my immediate, what first impressions or lasting impressions, that was a hit, dude.
Oh, yeah.
What did you fucking tell me? I said it in the Super Friends chat, Keith. Bob was like, hippie, that was a professional hit.
Well, it's
You
like,
immediately told me that was a
it's like
fucking
Jesse
professional hit.
Ventura, who was a Navy SEAL, when he was interviewed about 9/11, said that was a controlled demolition. I mean, listen to the experts. I mean, I don't know, but it gets back to the issue: is Bob, what can we do? I'm interested in your opinion. Is I think we all kind of see the same thing, and I'm really interested in your opinion.
Keep talking about it, because that's what we're doing.
Keep talking about it, educating,
Yeah.
Increase your sphere of influence. I mean, I get all those things, but it just seems like there's so many hydras and so many tentacles, and it's so deep and it's so prevalent. I mean, when we talk,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was
Keith.
going to say,
just reminded me of
when we sit here and we look at all of the government corruptions with the daycare centers and the hospice people and all this, and I'm like, where is the oversight? Where are the people with ethics and integrity? Are they all being shut down? I mean, have we gotten to the point where we're just going to cave? I'm not a caver. I'm not. I mean, my issue is I want to fight, but just you got it. I need a spotter. I need somebody to tell me.
One more rep.
Where is the target, the mission that I can achieve some success in, and I don't know.
You're doing a great job. You're here fucking hanging out with Bob Austin. and me,
I'm blessed.
and every once in a while, Scotty Hare, hopefully on a regular basis, and hanging out with Brooks Agnew, and
And Ty
great
and
guests
Holland
like
and,
Ty and Holland and Amy
and
and
Amy.
Ian Trottier. Come on, get out of here, shut the fuck up, and great guests. Period.
Oh,
All this jazz.
and
If you want a great book, folks, to look up, because you mentioned the Hydra, Craig Hewlett wrote The Hydra. You should check it out sometime. He's the guest who said straight up, because he used to work for Congressman Ron Paul. Bob, this is going to trigger you. He used to work with Ron Paul, and he said when the champagne he was talking about the freshmen who come into Congress.
Yeah, yeah.
Said when the champagne glasses start clinging, that's when the lobbyists, like wolves, descend upon the freshmen, and they all get corrupted. The majority of them.
like Pinocchio, in the island. I mean that's what I think of.
It's hard to stay uncorruptible in Congress. It just is. I'll tell you straight up, Morgan Luttrell ain't corrupted. That's a special operator Navy SEAL that out of Texas. Marcus Luttrell, everyone knows, Lone Survivor, the movie. Yeah, it's Marcus Luttrell's twin brother.
Yeah. So I don't. When I think of these situation events, the narrative's already been spun. They've already, there was a reason for everything. Okay, that's what's going to get this going. What do we need to happen to do this, to implement this? What has to happen? And they have mechanisms that make things happen to their purpose, to serve their purposes. Now, Epstein, he was Mossad, he was CIA. No, he kind of was pretty, reading into what we know a little bit about in those files. No, he was pretty happy just to say he's an agent for the Rothschilds, because that was the only introduction needed. I mean, obviously that's. I think if you've got those kind of credentials, if that's your introduction, even the president of the United States is like, whoa, what do they want? I don't. What's going on? Okay, so you here.
Who's the Maxwell chick? Ghislaine, what's her name?
Max Lane, Max something.
No, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was his handler.
Yeah, probably. But these same people that's in the file. Remember Nexum? They're connected, bro. The Bronfman family, the Seagrams heirs, the Bronfman. They're in both, man. They were Claire Bronfman was the one that was funding Nexum. I thought it was a self-help movement. And she got like probation or something. Maybe she got a couple. Who knows? Being honest, do people like that even really show up to turn themselves into jail or prison and stuff?
Prince Andrew. What accountability are you going to give? Whatever the relative of, the King of England. It's ridiculous.
Well, you can go back at Andrew. Yeah, he got his, what happened to him? You've been a bad boy. You're no longer a prince or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Charles and his mother. They were all big Jimmy Savile fans. Big time, and he was the most prolific pedophile in Britain.
But, I don't think Keith knows this, Bob, and a lot of, unless you're like ridiculous long time listener. Once again, I want to say hello to everyone, viewers on X, YouTube,
there you go,
and Rumble. Rock on, and thank you for
more to come
for viewing.
More views, more.
Oh, we're looking at Spotify, but come on. A lot of people, if you haven't been listening for a long time, Bob and I did this complete 2-hour show. Dr. Drake, back then my co-host was Dr. Drake, and he was out that night, and Bob was on with me, and we did an entire 2-hour show on the House of Rothschild, Bob.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. I'd like to hear that again. 'Cause it's only been further,
Advanced.
as far as what the really anyway.
The majority of the New World Order, or as Dr. Brooks Agnew would say, the global syndicate, but the New World Order, the majority of these motherfuckers are very, very silent. You know? So for example, people like David Rockefeller and Zbigniew Brzezinski,
Soros and Gates.
Jorge Soros, they're basically the messengers. You know, the people really behind the scenes, like the Rothschilds, they stay silent as shit. A lot of people that's why it's hard for people to understand what the New World Order is necessarily, because you know, when I'm just bringing up Brzezinski, even though Brzezinski's he's passed away, but these are like more famous people to, if you're studying the New World Order, to understand that David Rockefeller and Zbigniew Brzezinski and Jorge Soros is still alive, but his son Alex is basically waiting in the wings, or already there.
He married Huma Abedin.
Yeah,
Ain't that something?
isn't that funny as shit?
Well, think of who Hillary Clinton's daughter, Chelsea, is married. I mean, it's sick, you know.
Yeah, but you know the point is, when we did the House of Rothschild, these people, they're behind the scenes, you know. It's the others that they're like they're like overseeing, but not in the spotlight of the Bilderberg Group or Davos or Bohemian Grove. You know?
That family has probably more involvement with actual U.S. history to be so silently removed from the pages, because I mean,
Rothschilds.
Yes.
Yep. You know, I've told Chad many times. I said, I don't think we ever won a war of independence.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just okay. So you beat them, but you took the banks controlling your country.
Yeah.
And then we go up to Andrew Jackson. They tried to kill him.
I killed the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
he was
I'm
up at-
curious. I wanted to steer away from Iran, but I'm going to steer to a specific part of Iran. And Brooks
Pisakis.
Agnew had brought it up before. And the idea of this Lloyd's of London, you know, about this maritime insurance, and the idea that, you know, hey, listen, whether or not Trump was in it, or whether or not Trump was deceived, or whatever, how you feel about the Iran issue, part of that was this issue about stopping and controlling the international trade of energy, crude oil in particular, out of this air region, the Straits of Hormuz and such. And the idea is that all of the shipping had always been underwritten in the insurance
By the Lloyd's of London.
by the Lloyd's of London. And Trump, within 72, 96 hours or so, when Lloyd's of London said, we are no longer going to write insurance policies, and therefore effectively controlling and stopping the shipment of crude oil, Trump stepped in and said, we're going to replace you. And I think that was unexpected. And I think the idea was, holy shit, we're going to lose this control of this issue to do that. And then they maneuvered and whatever they did. And then Trump had another play. He says, okay, you can open it back up again, but I'm going to shut it back down. I'm going to impose a blockade, and we're going to control the flow of that out. And then that brought them back to the table, and I know it's gone back and forth, and I know it's not a done deal, and I don't know how it's all going to play out. But it sure seems to me that Trump is playing some cards that, at least on the surface, were not anticipated.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. And listen, we're none of us. We're blah, blah, blah. What we're doing here, bottom line, the three of us right now, we're putting out a hell of a lot of fucking information. That's really good information, and then having awesome thought and banter back and forth with it, because no one person has the exact answer to exactly everything that's going on. But I think it's been great discussion, period. But bottom line, if you want to really get at what the New World Order is, you're gonna have to start with the House of Rothschild,
Oh, definitely.
and then work your way around this labyrinth of incredible shit that is the New World Order, or the Global Syndicate, because I have to respect my co-host.
Right.
Brooks likes calling it the Global Syndicate. I call it the
And
New World Order.
It is. It is a global syndicate. It's
Yep.
you know, you remember a couple. I'm not going to mention any president, but whether it was Biden, his cabinet, or his picks. Yeah, these basically they were all Democrat mayors, or whatever, politicians, but they always looked. They would actually dress like cartoon villains, like from a Batman. And you're just like, what the fuck? These people, look at them. And it's just the imagery. You just, you can't. It doesn't escape me, man. It's like, holy shit, man. Is this what world are we living in, man? Bizarro, Bizarro?
Gotham City. Yeah.
Straight up. I mean, they look like characters from and what is it all about? Chaos. Okay, so you had apparently 35,000. I don't believe any of this shit. I'm just being for real. It doesn't matter who says it. I don't believe it. 35,000 Iranians were rioting and protesting, and they were executed. And I'm just like, okay, so when we had the Summer of Love and millions of people destroying cities and doing billions of dollars of damages and murders and no arrests.
No arrest.
Think about
No
that shit.
accountability.
It's because that's what they want. That's what they want. That's the kind of shit. Color revolution. That's what we do in other countries.
Yes.
And the Trump. This is my opinion, man. I mean, I'm not the guy making the decision. I'm not the guy that has the briefings and knows the players and what. But sure enough, if you go by the playbook, yeah. What's going on? They're looking for somebody who has some kind of power enough to be a wedge. Basically, who are we going to find to supplant this Ayatollah guy?
To use.
Who?
To use. Who are we going to find to use?
Exactly. Right. Who's my bitch?
Right.
All right, let's ride.
Well, and this is where I would like to think that,
like Zelensky. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, and this is what I would say is that, Bob, that, Chad and I used a word that we're wired, and I've really have thought over the last decade, what does it mean to be American, an American, and this issue of freedom and independence and such. And the idea is that how do we foster that? And what we need, And what I'm coming to realize is that it's really, really unique. I mean, it may be DNA, I'm not sure. But what we need is the Iranian people to step up like our founding forefathers, Patrick Henry and Ben Franklin and just the whole slew of them, to stand up and say, we want our independence. We recognize that our freedoms and liberties are not granted by a government, but are granted by our Creator, and we are seizing those. Maybe like the Magna Carta, maybe. I'm not a historian, but that's what we need. Because if you do the Afghanistan, we're going to be there, occupy, control, nurture, for 20, 30 years. And then the day that we pull out, you're just going to surrender back to some authoritarian, religious, regime.
Slap in the face to every service member that ever wore boots.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, here we are giving you independence and freedom on a silver platter and staying the course for 2 decades to give you time to embrace this. And the day that we leave out, you succumb to some radicals. What do you say? I mean, I'm just that shocked that, that you're wired differently than me. No way in hell am I going to give up what has been given to me under this issue. Because I hate to say it, you're somebody's bitch. Right?
Well, it's manipulation, and, we can go a lot of places with that as far as, and information is how they do it, or misinformation or disinformation. You're talking about what is it to be an American? Well, they used to define it by what Americans was defined by what we're not. Well, we're not communist. We're American. So it's I always talk to people
Wolverines.
about. There you go. Yeah. I saw Red Dawn, baby, in the theater. And and that's what that's to me and to my generation. I mean, sure, we were sons of rebels, grandchildren, whatever. We were rebels, and God has blessed this country, this nation, far more than what I think we deserve. Look what we've done with it, with the gifts.
Boy, you read the Old Testament, man. There's a lot of stuff there in the Deuteronomy and Judges and that time period with Israel, taking the Lord's blessings, and some generations doing very well, and what does it say, 2 generations later being just as lost as you can be. And it hurts me deeply. And I try with my children and now my grandchildren coming up, to instill in them what I perceive is the American, ideal. And I hope it's not lost, but it's for them to win and seize and take, or to give away, and it's tough for me to accept that and to realize that, but I can do so much that I can, but I've had a great life. I'm happy. And it's them that have what's, at stake there, and it's their freedoms and liberties and enjoyment in life that someone said it is that, that freedom and liberty is generational by generational, and each generation needs to seize it. And I'm hoping those millennials, those 45-year-olds, those 35-year-olds, 25-year-olds recognize, and I don't know how they do it because their education system is really, really left-leaning. Very, 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 very,
What?
yeah. Oh, kumbaya. This, hey, capitalism and the big bad guy. And yeah, there are problems with all kinds of different systems. But the issue is you better damn well understand and respect what you have that's God-given. And if you don't seize it, it's going to be taken away from you.
Damn straight. And I'm sorry, but capitalism is the only thing that fucking works.
It works the best.
Well,
I
it
agree
works
with that.
the best, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know?
I've heard it hurt, and I'm sorry, Chad, and I'll
Go
shut up. I've heard that it harnesses man's brokenness the most effective way. There's no doubt that there's abuses in capitalism. I get that. But the issue is that it has propelled and has benefited.
It's the only way.
It's the only way, right?
I mean, socialism, Bob's a proponent of socialism, but I'm...
I don't find that true worth a bit.
I think Bob's gonna Halo jump me tonight.
There you go.
Socialism.
He's gonna Halo jump me. I'm not gonna see him coming from the parachute. Listen, yeah, that's very well said, Keith. That needs to make it into a you know what.
A short.
Yeah, it's very well.
And we're not going to get banned tonight.
It's very well said. Don't ever underestimate YouTube. Do not ever underestimate those motherfuckers. I want you to read my wristband.
Petty Officer First Class Michael Savage. Michael J. Strange. I'm sorry.
Right?
All right.
KIA.
All right. Killed in action 08/06/2011.
Extortion. 17.
Extortion 17.
Bob's very familiar with all this, and you are too, Keith, doing the show for a little bit. What we're talking about tonight, we're talking about a lot of things tonight, okay? But some of it...
Important things, good things,
Hell
solid
yeah.
things.
Hell yeah. I'm bringing up, I wear this, having Keith read this bracelet, Michael Strange was Extortion 17 is a very important event where the hugest loss, the biggest loss of U.S. Navy SEALs in the history of naval special warfare happened with Extortion 17, and it's a huge deal, right? But let's say there's nothing wrong with Extortion 17, what there is. Michael Strange was on that helo that night in the Tangine Valley and died with his fellow Navy SEALs. He was in a firefight outside of that helo, by the way, in case you don't know about Extortion 17, if his story's bullshit. He and 14 other Navy SEALs were outside of that helo and in a firefight against 200 Afghan soldiers. The bottom line is, some of what we've been talking about tonight is how did Michael Strange and those other SEALs get there? How did Bob get sent over to Iraq? How were you on the Saratoga? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Someone brought them there, and what we're talking about is there's powers bigger. It's called the fucking New World Order, is what I'm just going to sum it up. That's what we're talking about. It's these are the people running the shit. JFK did not play with the globalist one bit. Something happened to him in Daley Plaza, Dallas, Texas, November 22, on a Friday in 1963. But I don't know, what would that be? But JFK did not play with these motherfucking globalists.
And he was a Democrat,
He'd be a Republican today.
no doubt.
But the way
Oh, yeah.
the way he, yeah,
Right.
the way he was. So I mean, that's. But I'm just trying to sum it up as far as that, because you're right, Keith. We've talked about a lot of stuff, in tonight, and I think it's great stuff. But we had to get heavy a little bit for the people who were like, I don't want to hear you talk about music. Well, that's fine. We'll get to other stuff later on. But I wanted to talk about music in the beginning, and the Florida Highway Patrol.
There you go. Because we're real. We're real people. I mean, you know, we,
The REM, the world leader, pretend. Listen to that song
Yeah.
because I have listened to that. You know, I mean, I know most of all their songs, but here recently I was just watching the video and just listening to the words. And it's like, oh my God, that was prophecy.
40 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, but the words are, I sit at my table and wage war on myself. It seems like it's all for nothing. I know the barricades. I know the mortar and the cracks. I recognize the weapons. I fitted them well. I practice them myself. Anyway, I practice anyway. But it's one of the things that says, let my own machine talk to me. Let my own machine talk to me. And it sounded kind of stupid 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what is he talking about?
Think of the Eagles in Hotel California, you know?
YouTube's going to ban us. You can't mention the Eagles at all.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought it was just medical misinformation. But
No, the Eagles are just notorious for if you play a snippet of their music. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
Oh, they want their money.
Or whoever owns the Eagle, I don't know. The record company, whoever, what label, I don't know.
You can't sample our music, man.
Yeah. But fucking Hotel California, yes, Keith. What a great example and one of the greatest songs ever, and we just got banned again.
shit, on a really good damn show. But hopefully not, because we didn't mention our friend, who I'm not going to mention because I don't want to poke the bear too much. But Bob, I really appreciate you being on tonight and spending some time with us, and I enjoy getting to know you more, and I want to let you know that you're really appreciated. And I'm going to tell you, Brooks mentioned something the other night, and I'm going to share it with you because I mentioned to Chad that, you know, we're all superheroes. We all have our kryptonite, and we all have our strengths. But banded together, man, we're pretty strong. And I think good things are headed forward here. And Brooks had mentioned, you know, I had mentioned that I had taken an IQ test and, you know, scored, and we talked about IQ and, you know, somewhere in the 140-ish range, you know, 135 to 145 or so. And Brooks said something like, you know, the last time I took one, my IQ was about 200. And I was absolutely blown away because I was thinking of the difficulty I had with my ex-wife, who had an IQ of what I'm estimating might have been 85 or so, and how far apart we were and how difficult conversations were. And Brooks really, I thought, really broke through. And he says it causes you to be introverted and isolated and pulled back and not engaged with people. And I said, man, I would hate to be cursed with an IQ of 200. It's bad enough to have an IQ of about 140. You just, your tolerance of people. And what I would say that I'm relating to you is, man, I know you're out there on an island. And yeah, you probably have some brothers in arms and some things like that. But I want to let you know that this is safe. Yeah, we care, we hear you, you know, and just be with us sometime. You know, join us every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever you're comfortable with, because I appreciate your input, and I hear you really loud and clear. I don't know what it's like to be an operator, but I did go through the Naval Academy, and I was a junior officer, you know, during the war on an aircraft carrier. So I have a smidgeling of your situation.
Very well said, Keith. Very well said. Listen, Bob's made a record appearance on this show this year. It's 4 times now. That's early in the year.
There you go.
Back in the day, he was my crutch. Back in the day and all this, but yeah, sometimes he's on once or twice a year, but this year he's already been on 4 times, man. So,
Come back often, man. That's all I'm
I
saying.
appreciate that. You know, it's to reiterate what you were saying, Keith. It's kind of like it's a collective consciousness that we have, and it helps to talk because the things that we're talking about probably would have got you sent to an insane asylum or something, 50 years ago or whatever, even today, depending on what we're talking about. Well, that's crazy. And, when I think of things in all these, every situation is different, every event, every day, 1,000 things are going to happen on the news, what's reported, what's important, what do they tell us is important. But it comes down to possibilities and probabilities. That's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything is possible. Okay? And then to get back into the investigations, to whose benefit, who and you have to have working theories and, kind of know the players or know the games, but nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table. And, you can't be afraid to call bullshit on bullshit. And with the information and the disinformation that we're living in, the censorship that we're living in, I think we deserve better from our elected representatives.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Bob,
Accountability. We're all accountable. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay, accountability, baby, and be nice to see people do the right thing for the people of this country. And it's just, dude, we're people that grew up thinking that there's a peak oil, that, the fossil fuels will be gone by now. Oh, what do you mean? There's oceans of oil. It replenishes itself. What's going on here, dude? And they're like, oh, if you drill far enough, I don't care where you're at, you're going to hit oil.
when I was in grade school, we're fucked by the time you get into high school.
Yeah.
12
12
like
years.
that.
I heard AOC talk about climate change and
We
being
got to
underwater.
get out of here, Keith.
I got you. But Bob, my point to you is I love you. I appreciate you. I'm in gratitude to you. And whatever I can do, and I know Chad says, we don't care if we get banned. The issue is this is a safe place. And
I appreciate it, man. I mean, I'm not suicidal or anything. I want to get that on the record.
right.
Oh, excuse me.
But we don't want you to be isolated.
No,
yeah.
he's fucking Bob Austin. He's fine.
Yes.
He's fine. Bob, we got a great show with you tonight, man. Great show, and yeah, we want you on more. You know that. I ask you if you want to come on and all this jazz. So you can be on way more than you've been on 4 times this year.
Signal, man.
Yeah, there we go. Sounds great. Great show with you, Booby. Stay with us through the end as we get out of here.
All right.
There you go, Tony. I think it's your cue.
Booby, yeah, just stay with us to the end.
Wow, we went over.
You can say goodnight to everybody and all this. Keith, Lieutenant Keith Temple, say goodnight to everybody.
Chad, thanks for, I mean, what an amazing show. I mean, every Saturday I come back and I'm like, man, that was a great show. And then all of a sudden the next Saturday, man, that was a better show. This was a great show.
Great show because of you and Bob Austin.
I don't know about that.
Plain and simple. Great show, Booby. For our elusive engineer, Sentinel, producer Tony, Adam Earth, Scott Hare, and of course Brooks Agnew, and you just heard him right now, the luscious Bob Austin. I love you, Bob. Until next time, I'm Chad. This let justice be done till the heavens fall. This is Earth. Good night, Booby. Say good night.
Bye.
There you go.
Doing the 47, calling you out there, Mr. Trump. I think I can do the dance better than you can. Or at least I'd like to try.